Okay, we're going to finish chapter 9. We're doing section 5 today. I know we skipped some sections in between. These are the two that we need to go over. So today we're talking about geometric sequences. Notice, what are we doing in here tomorrow?
Test, review.
Review, which means Friday will be quiz. Just a quiz because it's only 2 sections. I will be gone on Friday. Okay? So, but I think really your quiz is what we did yesterday, which you guys have done really well on. And then this, which is pretty easy. It's just sequence of numbers. Okay? So, I don't think we'll have any problems on this quiz. And some of us need to do well on it because we need our grades to come up just a little bit. Okay? So, there are 2 types of sequences. Okay? One is an arithmetic sequence. Can anyone tell me, like, when I say a sequence of numbers, what I'm referring to?
Lowest to biggest.
Okay, sure. Like, give me an example.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 would be a sequence of numbers, right? So it's a pattern of numbers. An arithmetic sequence uses addition or subtraction. So to find arithmetic sequences, you can check and see if it adds or subtracts the same number every time. Okay? So if I give you an example of 7, 15, 23,
Plus 8.
and 31, why would this be an arithmetic sequence?
Plus an 8 every time.
Does that work every time?
No.
What's 7 plus 8?
15.
What's 15 plus 8?
23.
And 23 plus 8? Okay, you have to check all the way through because sometimes they'll give you the first 2 that are plus 8, and then if the last one switched to plus 6, that would not be arithmetic because it's not the same number, right? So it is an arithmetic sequence because it adds the same number every time. Okay, one example. What if I have 18, 20, 24, and 30? How would I get from 18 to 20?
2.
Plus 2. What about 20 to 24?
Plus 4.
And 24 to 30? So, would this be an arithmetic sequence? No, right? Because it doesn't add the same number.
It's just we write arithmetic or non-arithmetic.
Yes, which really on today's you're going to be choosing arithmetic, geometric, or none. Okay, so, yeah. Okay, so if it's arithmetic, has to be addition or subtraction. Same number every time. Fair enough? Okay, so if arithmetic is addition and subtraction, what do you think geometric?
Is multiplication and division.
Kind of. Technically, geometric is multiplication. I'm going to put division in parentheses and I'll explain why. Okay, it's multiplication or division by a common ratio. Now, typically, when you see the word ratio, it's referring to what type of number?
Decimal.
Nope. Fraction. Okay? Yes, could be a decimal. Typically, it's a fraction. So, the reason I say fraction, and I put division in parentheses, is because it has to be multiplication. It could look like division. But if it's division, instead of saying like dividing by 4, we would say multiply by 1 over 4. Okay? Because multiplying by a fourth is the same as dividing by 4. Brittany, do you want that to be mine?
No.
Okay, put it in your bag. So, first sequence, 256, 128, 64, 32. Now, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell from 256 to 128. You might be able to tell easily from 64 to 32. How could I get from 64 to 32? Okay, so it is division of 2, but remember I just said we'll use multiplication of a fraction. So what fraction will we multiply by? 1 over 2. Because half of 256 is 128. What's half of 128? 64. Half of 64 is 32. Okay? So this is geometric. Okay? Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go over a whole number on this because you can usually tell if we're multiplying by a whole number. And we're going to kind of see that in our next examples. Okay? All right. So we're going to find the next three terms in the geometric sequence. Now, if it tells you it's geometric, do you already know it's going to use multiplication?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what we're looking for is our common ratio. Sorry, that should be -4, -64. So first, what would I multiply by to get from 1 to -4? -4. Okay. Does that work from -4 to +16? Yes, because it should change it back positive and then changing it back to -64. So all you need to do, which you can use your calculator on this, is -64 times what number?
4.
-4, because that's our common ratio. So what is -64 times -4? 256. And then you can just keep hitting times. You don't have to clear it out. Just straight from there, hit times -4.
-1,000.
One more time.
4,096.
Good.
Could have done that in my head.
Could we? Is that true? Okay. Okay. Now, again, the numbers are going down, so it looks like division. So tell me first, what number are we dividing by? 3. Change that to multiplication of a fraction. Dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1/3. Yes. Okay. So what is 1/3 times 1/3? Don't add them, multiply them. 1/9, right? 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3, 9. Is the top number going to stay 1 all the way through? Yes. So just multiply the bottom number by 3. What's 9 times 3? 27. And then 1/, what's 27 times 3? 81. Okay? All right, I'm going to do one last example on this because I think we're really okay with this, and then we'll look at the last part. Okay, first I have to find my common ratio. What am I multiplying by to get each number? This one is a little tricky.
1/3. 1/4. No.
There is something. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you can't identify it right away, what could you do to figure that out? Anyone have an idea? Like working backwards?
I too.
Okay, you're close.
Divided by 12.
Not 24. What number should you start with? Yes, Aiden. Yeah, start with 36 and divide it by the number in front. What's 36 divided by 24?
1.5.
1.5. Okay, JC, go make sure that 36 times 1.5 gives you 54. Cayenne, make sure 54 times 1.5 gives you 81.
Give me 54.
Okay? Good. So that means 1.5 is our common ratio. Now we can easily find our next three terms. Okay? So 121.5. I know you guys can type times 1.5 in your calculator, so I'm just going to write it in for us. 273.375. Okay? Now, most of today's stuff has been fairly simple. Yes? Okay? This is the one part. I'm not going to say it's difficult, but I am going to say you need to pay extra attention to this to know how to use this formula. Okay? So, last thing we're going to talk about is how to find the nth term in a geometric sequence. Now, what that means is, if it wants you to find like the 84th term, do you want to write out, JC, 84 numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, none of you want to do that, right? So that's why we can use a formula to help us find any specific term in a sequence of numbers and not have to write out 34 numbers to find the 34th term, okay? Let me write it out before we say, I don't get this, okay? I promise it looks confusing at first. It's not. There's always one.
I'm about to hit you.
Okay. The formula to find any term is called A sub n. And then we just take A1, which is the first term in your sequence, times R, which is your common ratio. We already talked about finding the common ratio, right? It's how we get from one number to the next. And then n is the nth term, right? Whatever term they want you to find, that's what it's asking for, okay? So all we have to do, if we have a sequence, we can identify the first term, we can figure out the common ratio, and then it will tell you what the nth term is, what term to solve for, okay? You don't want to write that down?
It seemed right in my head already.
Whew, okay. I hope you ain't asking me as soon as that comes up.
I'll still write that for sure.
Really? It looked like we were just staring at the screen.
I was.
Huh, okay. All right, here's our sequence. -6, 12, -24, and 48.
-2.
Okay? We're going to find the 9th term. So, bless you.
I understand.
There's 3 things we need. A1 is what?
Apple bottom jeans.
What number? First term. What's our first term in the sequence? -6. Okay? -6 is our first term. R is the common ratio. How do I get from one number to the next? Times -2. N is the term we're finding. What term are we finding? 9. Okay? So all you have to do is start with this number, -6, put R in parentheses, and then the exponent is going to be 9 minus 1. Now, what is 9 minus 1?
8,071.
That is-
I must want that.
Okay, that is incorrect. So,
You do parentheses in it.
you have to put parentheses around -2. Okay? So, -6 parentheses, -2 to the 8th power. What'd you get?
-1536.
Students, if you have Miss Larson this hour, you are supposed to be in her classroom in the past. Thank you.
Okay? First term times the common ratio to the term you're finding, power minus 1. Okay? One more, and I'll let you go.
Mr. Fisher, can you go back to the equation?
Yeah.
I think,
No, like the previous one?
Yeah, with the equation?
No. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
I'm not doing the next page.
why is here? I don't want to do it.
Hey, the other thing I'm going to tell you guys, listen. This part over here on the left, I don't really write that because sometimes that just confuses you when you're solving. All it is, like on the one we just did, I would write A with a 9 down on the bottom, but sometimes that confuses people and they think they need to do something with it. You really don't. All you have to do is this right side. First term, common ratio, term you're finding. Okay? All right, last one.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry, Hogan. If you want to write down the sequence, 1, -2, 4, and -8.
-2, 4.
1, -2, 4, -8. And you want to go ahead and try it with your formula, you can. 1, -2,
Right.
4, -8. the 12th term. Okay, Callan, every time I would write down the 3 things I need.
Yeah.
Okay, what is my first term in the sequence?
1.
What is my common ratio?
-2.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure.
Okay.
And then it's the 12th n.
Yes, it is times -2, but you don't have to put times here. It just needs to know what number it is. Okay? So, to solve, what do I start with? Which of those numbers?
Whole bunch of guacamole.
1, the first term. What number's in parentheses? To what power?
12 minus 1.
11.
12 minus 1. Okay? So, 1 parentheses, -2 to the 11th. So, really, in your calculator, you could just do -2 to the 11th because multiplying by 1 isn't going to change your answer.
-2048.
2048.
Hey, I'll be 11. That's 23 more.
Well, hopefully, all of us will.
Will you be 11?
Okay, I hope. All right, practice today.